you. So good morning and welcome and nice to see you here. Today's practice, we are going to be focusing on the 6th chakra. We've been going in row over the last couple of weeks, and today is the 6th chakra. 6th chakra is also known as the Ajna Chakra. It is located between the eyebrows, the third eye. And it is the center of our wisdom and our intuition, and we're going to be focusing on a lot of forward folds in today's practice. So if you can imagine, each time we forward fold, we sort of ignite or energetically put attention on that third eye as though we were, pressing into it. And we're going to be working the hamstrings today, a few little twists, some balancing as well, but focusing on the hamstrings. So this is, for me, my biggest challenge, and this is probably something I should be doing more often. So anything that you resist, should be doing more of. See that you're seated comfortably. We'll start just by taking a few moments to get still, to allow ourselves to connect inwardly, to arrive on our mat. And just taking a first few breaths. I hope that you're able to let go of all the happenings from the last few days, the last few months, even the last year. And just get still. Connect to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Allow that breath to be your point of focus. And then just notice, is that breath where you're putting your intention on? Is it really clear? Is it really in the center of where your attention is? Take that next inhale and allow that to fill your rib cage, your lungs, really feel it expand down your arms and your fingers into the top of your head. And then exhale and feel a sense of release. And just notice with a few of these breaths, intentional, purposeful, inhale and exhale, how you start to bring your attention into the here and the now. Let everything from the past fall away and start to quiet the mind from what is to come. And just take a little scan through the body. What is it that you're feeling or where your attention is being drawn to the most? Feel tingling in your hands. Do you feel awareness in your sits bones and how you're seated? Do you just feel the beating of your heart? It's as simple as finding a few breaths to connect. And I invite you to bring your hands in front of your heart. Take that gaze inward, look into that heart space. And this practice is one that when we connect to that third eye or that space between our eyebrows and our forehead, the one that brings us to our wisdom and our intuitive nature, when this chakra becomes awakened, the mind becomes steady and strong. And when balanced, it allows us to feel open and focused, and this deep inward connection to our sense, to ourselves or something bigger. To make an intention or create an intention right now on your practice, maybe it involves this chakra, allowing you to listen more to that voice of yours, that instinctual gut feeling, to do something that you're uncertain about and to trust. Allow what comes up to be that what is exactly what you need. And we'll begin just by sharing one sound of Om together. So taking a nice full inhale breath together and beginning. Find a nice full, easy inhale and exhale, let it out as you need. You can pause here for a moment longer, let your hands drop down whenever you're ready. Let your eyes open whenever you're ready. And just coming right back into your space, but with a little bit more awareness and connection. We're going to start today with our straps. We're going to start on our back. So just have your straps handy. Before we fully begin, I'm going to just do a little bit of movements through the body by just laying on your back. Take your feet, press your feet into the mat, take your arms overhead and stretch your arms overhead and just rock your hips or your legs from side to side. See that your feet are wide enough that as you rock your feet in this windshield wiper motion, you're feeling a nice stretch through the lateral sides of your body into your hips. Maybe you want to find a little yawn here if that feels good. A little sigh out. And then take your hands to the sides of your body, press your feet into the mat. See that you feel your heels, just so you know your feet are close enough to you. And as you inhale, press into your heels, lift your hips, send your arms up nice and high overhead. And then exhale slowly, one vertebrae at a time, gently press into the mat with your lower back pressing last all the way down to your tailbone. Inhale again, just another one. Feel the stretch through the front of the body. Lengthen through the arms and exhale, round the back to the mat. Find a full breath, inhale. Feel those lungs and exhale slowly. Let the air seep out as you roll and press your back into the mat. Two more like this, inhale. Feel the strength of your legs, feel your quadriceps. Feel your core as you squeeze the breath out. Press the mat back to the mat. And one last time, inhale. And exhale, rolling down nice and controlled. Bring your feet off the mat, your knees into your chest. Make some nice circular motions. And again, play with it. See where you need to squeeze more or which way you need to rock more to feel what you need to feel. Allow it to be intuitive. That feels good. And then just grab behind your thighs, send your legs up to the sky, and make some nice movements through your ankles, rotating in big, big circles in both directions. And make that stretch so you feel that pull up the front of the feet. And maybe when you bring your toes towards you, you feel that pull up the back of the legs. But really be here in the stretch. Spread your toes and see if you can find space between all 10 toes. And then just point and flex. Point and flex. And while you're doing this, feel how your legs contract. Feel the strength in your legs. Maybe you need to hold your legs. Maybe you don't need to hold your legs. There's no right or wrong. Just do what feels right for you and where you're feeling the deepest stretch just by laying here on your back. And you might even start to feel your ankles start to get a little fatigued because these little tendons and ligaments and all the muscles around aren't used to this much activity. At least I'm feeling it. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring the knees back into the chest. Just give yourself a little hug. Pull your nose to your knees. Feel your core contract. Hold here. And then slowly release all the way down to the mat. We're going to start by extending your left leg. Use the strap now and take the strap around your right foot. You can have a loop or not, it doesn't matter. Take your hands as close to the strap as you can. And the idea is to keep your right leg straight. Of course, you can find a bend in it, but an alternative would be just to take your leg a little further away so that leg doesn't have the bend and you're starting to find the deepest stretch in your hamstrings. But again, you can find a little micro bend and there's nothing wrong with that. Arms as far to the hands, hands as far to the foot as possible. Slide them down, but see that you're drawing with the weight of your arms on that strap so that you're really pulling that strap long. That foot is starting to draw towards you in whatever degree is enough for you. And you're feeling a nice hamstring stretch here. So let those shoulders be heavy. They're dropping towards the floor. And the weight of your arms can surprisingly be heavier than you think. If you completely let the dead weight of the arms draw that strap, that becomes a pretty intense stretch for me anyway. And then just see if you can maybe press your heel a little bit higher to the ceiling. And then come back to your breath. Again, this is a practice that for me is the most challenging. And it's one where, you tend to want to stop. Well, for me. And instead of stopping, I just choose to breathe and find that calm in my breath. And that's what allows me to stay here. I get out of putting the attention on that deep sensation and put my attention on my breath. And we're just going to hold for a few more breaths. See if you can relax any muscle tension in the leg so that you start to feel the deeper tissues get the stretch. So we've got 4 muscles that stem at the top of the bone here, which are known as your hamstring muscles. So there's 4 muscles that go down that we're stretching here. That's often why we always have a little bit of tightness, because those 4 muscles always work a little differently. We're going to put the strap just into your right hand, and we're going to exhale that right leg out to the right. Start to bend your right elbow so that right elbow can press into the mat so your shoulder doesn't get fatigued. And then draw on that strap as deeply as you can so that that foot starts to come towards your shoulder. Your left hand can go on your left hip. And that can create that sensation as though you are pressing that hip down and keeping your back and your body squared on the mat. And then come back to your breath, inhaling. Maybe with each breath, can you just draw a little bit more tension on that right leg on the strap? And each time you exhale, soften any muscle tension. Relax the muscles in the leg. Put your attention on where that stretch is. It's going to be on your inner thigh, possibly still your back of your thigh. And breathe into that space. See that your jaw's relaxed, you're not clenching. And coming back to your breath all the time, especially when you feel like you want to stop. We're going to use our core to inhale that right leg, take it back up to center, switch hands, and reach the hand as close to the foot as possible. And then slowly slide the hand down to whatever degree you're feeling that stretch enough. And then take that hip, stacking it more or less. This time my left elbow is pressing into the mat. Open up that right arm and feel that stretch. This is going to be the most intense stretch for most people anyway. You're going to now feel it in your IT bands, this outer hamstring muscle. This is the one that has got a lot of, well, the muscle gets really thin. So it becomes a tighter kind of tendon type muscle. And maybe that's why the sensation is a little bit more intense as well. Come back to your breath. Gaze to your right thumb if that feels okay for you, with your neck. And just letting these stretches, these muscles marinate. That's kind of the sensation you feel when we're holding it for a long time. And again, can you press your heel away from you? Just deepening that stretch through the ankle, maybe up the back of the leg. And then with the next inhale, use your core, send that right leg up to the sky. And then we're just going to switch the feet. So you can slide your left foot into that strap, let your right leg come down. Keep your extended leg long. You might even want to just have it hovering off of the mat. I didn't mention that the last time. Hands as close to the strap and let the arms slide just to the degree that the left arm is still nice and long. And if you can, see that you're drawing that leg towards you. The other thing that's a good tip, if your leg is more further away and they have a tendency of the leg bending too much, I've sometimes in the past used my other arm just to keep that thigh so pushing away so that the knee doesn't bend. That makes sense to you? And that way you can relax the muscles in this leg somewhat and just feel that hamstring stretch take place without other muscle groups really working hard. And it can become a little intense on the hands holding the strap. But that's okay. We can do this. Just keep breathing. Relax the jaw. Come back to your breath. And just keep listening to your body. Can you find a deeper stretch? Can you draw that leg a little bit more towards you? Keep the awareness, again, the extended leg on the mat. Maybe press your heel as well away from you. Big breaths into the rib cage, into the chest. And then we're going to slowly open up that left leg to the side. And as you do it, bend your left elbow. See that it supports that shoulder. And if it feels okay, you can take the gaze in the opposite direction to the right. Right hand on your right hip. Somewhat creating that feeling that those hips are square. And then breathe. Bring your awareness into that part of your body where you're feeling that stretch the most. And then imagine you're sending your breath to that space as though you're soothing it, as though you're healing or creating more space. Visualization is a huge part of how we can heal our bodies as well. Support what we might need for our bodies. Coming back to your Ujjayi breath, stay with that nice sound so that you're reminded always to breathe. And then let's bring that left leg back through to the center. Switching hands. Again, take that hand as close to your foot as possible. Let that leg flop over onto the opposite side. So it's drawing to the right. And then draw that strap towards your right shoulder so that you are getting the deepest stretch as that leg draws to the right. It's still pulling away from you. So you get into the hamstrings. Gaze to your left thumb this time. And here we're creating a nice twist in our torso. Take a few big breaths with awareness into your abdominal area, massaging all those organs. And then press your heel away. Flex your left foot. Flex your right foot even. Keeping that jaw nice and relaxed. And then inhale, use your core, send that left leg all the way back up. And then slowly remove the strap from your feet. Let's take your knees into your chest again. Give yourself a little hug. See how that feels through the back of your legs. Maybe a few little circles. And then setting your feet to the floor again. Let's just work through the hips, rocking from left to right. And for me, it's important that we warm up those joints slowly. We get the blood flowing through them. And then the big muscle groups. And then pull those knees back in or grab behind your knees. And let's just rock a few times front and back. We're going to come all the way over onto our hands and knees. So whenever you're ready, you might cross your feet at the ankles and then set your hands to the floor. Walk your feet back, hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift up, cow. Arching the back, and exhale, rounding the back, push those hands into the mat. Inhale, find a beautiful breath. Fill the lungs, and exhale, empty as slow as the movement. Inhaling, and exhaling. See if you can roll those elbows so that I don't even know what the inside of your elbow is called, is pointing forward. I guess it's just called the inside of your elbow. And exhaling. So you've got activity in those arms, solid, strong, pressing into the mat. Find that Ujjayi sound again. Inhaling, ocean breath. And exhaling. Use that breath to draw your navel in. Let's do 2 more like this. Inhale. Make it fluid, make it feel good in your body. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck those toes under. Come into downward dog. Starts by bending your knees deeply, pedaling out your right and your left leg. And press those heels to the floor or in the direction so you're starting to feel that stretch in the back of those legs. Give your head a little rotation, yes and no. Stick your tongue out, smile, frown, whatever funny faces you can make so you feel and relax all the muscles in your face. It feels so good because we never do it. And then we're going to make the stance just a little bit smaller. We're just going to come into a little twist here. If your heels can press towards the floor, start to get straighter legs, do that. But it's more important to have a long spine than it is to have straight legs. Grab onto your outer left ankle. Just come into a gentle twist here. Few breaths. Breathe into your core. Feel those organs massaged. Switch sides, your right hand back to the mat, your left arm on your outer right thigh ankle. Inhaling and exhaling. Really breathe into this twist. And exhale, set your hands back down to the floor. We're going to wave it out into plank. So round your spine, your shoulders, your back, until you come into plank. Your shoulders come over your wrists. Your legs are strong. Press your heels to the floor and then just lift into an upward dog, keeping your toes under and just feel that heart lift. Nice little full body, back body stretch. Bend your knees, send your hips back. Again, round it through. A little wave, shoulders end up over your wrists, drop your hips. Let those heels press back and lift your heart. Exhale, bend those knees. This is what I like to do when I don't have much time. I do 5 of these or so. Round through the back, shoulders over the wrists, plank, pull those kneecaps up and lift the heart. And then exhale, back into downward dog, pedaling it out. Let's lift that right leg, 3-legged dog. Feel light through the right side of the body. Point those toes. And then gently, let's set that right foot to the outside of your right hand. Just feel into the hips, nice and easy. Drop the hips. Now again, press your left heel as though you want to press it to the floor. Just going to activate that right leg, or that left leg, and just feel that length down the back of that left leg. Lift your heart. Feel your spine long, and imagine you want to do a gentle back bend. So you're really drawing those shoulders away. Bend into your right knee a little bit more. You can use blocks here. Again, all these modifications are there for you, or all these props, and use them whenever you need. And then from here, just come into a gentle twist. Let's open it up. And again, can you press your left heel into the mat, in the direction of the mat a little bit more? Exhale that hand back down. And then from here, just send your right leg back. Feel strong in your core. Press those heels back again. Send the hips back, downward dog. Inhale your left leg, three-legged dog. Push evenly into the hands, as though you want to push so deeply into the hands that your left foot reaches the back wall or ceiling a little bit closer. Point that toe, and then gently come forward. Set your foot to the outside of your left hand and bend into your left knee as much as you can. So feeling those hips, and then put your attention on your right leg. See that there's not a bend in that knee? Press the heel back, activating that right knee, that right quadricep, and then lift the heart. Few breaths here, deep into the hips. Full breath and exhale. And then from here, let's set that left leg back into plank, and then back into downward dog. Take a few little steps here, feeling the back of your legs as you come into Uttanasana. Uttanasana, deep forward fold. And we're going to stay here for a few breaths just because this is what we're focusing on today. Put the weight in the front of your feet so much that you feel like you're going to fall forward, and then gently just feel the heels on the mat. Grab onto your opposite elbows if that feels right for you. You can also just let your arms dangle. Let your head be released to your neck and your jaw. All the skin on your face. Let the shoulders and let the arms be heavy as well. Even though you're holding onto your elbows, if you are, that's fine. And then lean forward a little bit more and start to feel the stretch sneak in your hamstrings. And here you can keep your knees bent as much as you need. And then gently release your hands and just hold on to your ankles. So now you're hugging. That chest and those thighs are supporting one another, pressing against one another. And then just see if you can hug into your legs a little bit more. Keep the weight in the front of your feet. Look to your big toes or your ankles. Let your head somewhat be free. And then just notice if you're able to find a little bit more lift in those hips. And notice when you put your weight into your heels, that stretch releases a little bit more. And when you lean forward, it intensifies. And we're here to create that stretch. So lean forward. And if you want to take it a little bit further, maybe hug your arms behind your legs, grabbing onto your elbows. Okay, same thing we were doing before. Lean forward again. And if you want to take it a little deeper, just press your forearms down your calves a little bit more. Just going to give you a deeper hug. Soften your jaw here. Breathe into where that sensation is deepest. And then gently release those arms. Ooh, pedal out those legs. Grab a block. We're going to come into Urdhva Uttanasana. You can grab a block or you can put your hands on your thighs. Okay? If your hands on your thighs, draw those shoulders and elbows towards one another behind you. Press them to the back of the room. Lift your chest. And if you're on your thighs, on your blocks, push those away. Same idea. Roll the shoulders away and back. See that the hands are right underneath the shoulders and the feet underneath the hips. And whatever pose you chose to take, what you want to do is imagine you want to create a deeper back bend. Lift the heart. Lift the heart. Push into those blocks, push into those thighs. And lean forward while you're doing it. Draw your navel in. You're going to feel how it activates. You're going to start to feel the muscles along your spine, between your shoulder blades, start to tingle. I get hot right away. I feel almost like little sweat beads are starting to accumulate. And then exhale, slowly release. And then pedal it out. Soften it. So we haven't had tons of force anywhere yet. It's just our own body weight. And just be gentle with you throughout the practice. Take your arms out to the sides and come all the way up to standing. Gaze to your thumbs. And exhale, release your hands through the heart. Shake it out a little bit. And preparing Surya Namaskar A, top of your mat. Inhale, take the arms up, gaze to your thumbs, Hastasana, and exhale, keeping those long legs strong. Bend into the knees as much as you need to. Lean into the front of your foot, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Uttanasana. Similar feeling. And then exhale from here. We're going to just use the blocks. So if you don't have blocks, grab them, or if you weren't using blocks before, grab them. Again, if the blocks are too low, you can use a chair, the seat of a chair. Lots of modifications. We're going to just inhale, lift your right leg, and send your right leg behind you. Flex that right leg, pull the kneecap up, and press that heel away. Square the hips. And again, this is a forward fold already. Okay, so the more that back leg lifts up, it's like the more that your torso starts to drop forward. And if you can drop forward a little bit more, then do so. And if you can use the floor, then do so. Okay, so listen to what your forward fold looks like or feels like and is asking and requiring of you. And then really press that right foot to the wall behind you and press your left foot into the mat underneath you. And at the same time, we're lifting the chest. We are pushing into whatever we chose and feeling a gentle back bend. Breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. Soften your jaw. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly lower that foot back down. So while we're stretching and finding mobility in the hips, we're also developing our own strength using our body's weight. Press into your right foot, flex your left foot, and send that left leg behind you. And imagine you are pressing that left foot into that wall. The weight is still more into the front of that right foot. So lean forward. That's why we're making sure that the shoulders are always over the wrists and not like this, not too close. Take them a good chunk away, leaning forward, and then feel the activity in both of your legs. My kneecap on my right leg is activated, creating a lot of stability there. And my left leg is pressing into that heel, kneecap as well. And then press into your hands again, whether they're on your thighs or on blocks. Actually, we're not using our thighs. We're using either a chair or blocks or the floor. Inhaling and exhaling. It has to do with stability. Feel your nervous system. You might start to shake here. That's okay. We need to stress our nervous system too. Don't stop. Come back to the breath. It's your fuel. Take one more inhale here and exhale, slowly lower your foot down. Rock those hips. Whew, I certainly feel them. And then taking 2 big steps back, come into plank. Again, feel those legs long and strong. Let's take a break from the legs and lower all the way down to the mat. Coming into little cobra, hands by your rib cage. Roll those shoulders maybe 5 times away from your ears. Since we haven't done a lot of upper body yet, push into the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Squeeze those shoulder blades and those elbows towards one another. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Make a nice fluid motion and synchronize it with your breath. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. See if you can get a little less weight under your hands. Inhale, use your core. And exhale. And last one here, inhaling. And exhale. Pause. Make a little pillow. Rock your hips from side to side. Let's just come into a little twist here. I'm loving these shoulder stretches. Right arm out to the right, left hand into the mat, and just twist it open You can't stretch your shoulders enough. So it never hurts to squeeze these in between. Inhaling, feel that breath. Open up your chest. And exhale. Spread your 5 fingers on your right hand nice and wide. Inhale. And exhale. And one last breath here. Inhale. Exhale, come back onto your belly. Left arm reaches as far away from you as possible. Roll onto your left side. Your right leg twists open. Press into your right hand so much. Inhaling and exhaling. And notice by breathing extra big, you're feeling a greater stretch and opening into that shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling. Be gentle here. Let the breath soothe you. Inhale. Exhale. And one final breath. Inhale. And exhale. Come back onto your belly. Hands by your rib cage, either through child's pose or reverse push-up, through plank, and then downward dog. That's where we're meeting up. Inhale your right leg, 3-legged dog. Exhale. Set your right foot to the top of the mat. Bend deep into your right knee. Let's come into warrior 1. Feel that body lengthen the front. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale. And exhale. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Windmill hands back down to the floor. Set your left knee to the floor. And we're just going to come into half splits, half Hanumanasana. So you can use your blocks under your hands here if that's helpful for you. Really pull or set your hips back. Flex your right foot. Inhale, feel a back bend, lift your heart. That's why if you do have blocks, you can press into the blocks to feel even more of a back bend if that's where you need a little bit more support. Feels good. And at the same time, see if you can pull your right hip back a little bit further. And breathe up into the back of that right leg. Feels so good. And then exhale, sink deep into that front leg. Root the hands back down, send your right leg back, 3-legged dog. And then we're going to send your right leg to your chest. Just come into a nice little rounding of the back and set that right foot to the left side of the mat. We're going to extend the leg out to the side. Both feet are going to flex. Okay, well, your back foot is still on the mat, but you're going to flex your left foot. Okay, you're going to feel that same stretch in your outer right leg. Lift your heart and see if you can feel a little back bend. Feel your chest lift. And then start to go a little bit deeper. And as you go a little bit deeper, you're going to feel that stretch intensify in your outer glute, in your outer right leg, and even maybe a little of the hamstring muscles. And then release your left hand. Let's come into Vashisthasana variation. Now your left extended leg flexes. And stay really strong here. Both legs flexed. Take your breath. If this feels like too much, just take a pause here on your outer hip. Otherwise, see if you can hold it up. Exhale your left hand back down to the mat. Your right arm behind you, 3-legged dog. And then slowly with your exhale, set that foot back down to the mat. Let's take that left leg, 3-legged dog. The big step, set that foot to the inside of your left hand. Bend into your knees. Bend into your knees. Drop into your hips, so bend into your left knee a little bit more and come into warrior 1. Inhale. And then exhale. 5 breaths here. Use each breath to find a little more space in your torso, pulling those little vertebrae apart. And each time you exhale, can you sink into your left knee a little bit more? Another thing just to bring into awareness, notice if your hips are squared. Often when we send that left leg forward, our hips are no longer parallel. Really pull your left hip back, send your right hip forward. And that's going to develop the muscles, creating that awareness with alignment in those hips. Take one more breath here. I'm sure this is 5. And then windmill the hands back down. Drop your right knee, Hanumanasana, Parsva Hanumanasana, half splits, and then send the hips back. Again, use the blocks if you need to. And another tip is to keep your hands as far forward as possible. That's just going to create an expression of finding length in your spine. Personally, I love the blocks. Inhale, lift the chest, flex that left foot, and maybe with each exhale, you can start to fold forward, sink down. Keep your jaw relaxed. And again, can you pull your left hip a little bit further back and your right hip a little bit further forward? If you notice that little play that you have in your hips, there's enough there that you can actually make a shift. And with the next inhale, bend into your left leg. Oh, I know what we forgot to do. We forgot to do, let's stay here for a second. Take your back leg off. We forgot to do this rotation. So coming into this little twist here. And then we'll continue with our Vashisthasana. And bend into your left knee a little bit more. Stacking the arms, stacking the hands. Take one more breath. Feel a nice rotation in your torso. Set your hand down. We're going to send the left leg behind us. And then we're going to pull that left leg into our belly, round the back. Shoulders come towards over your wrists. And then set your left leg flexed out to the right. Just start by staying here. A little bit awkward, a little twist here. Stay strong in your legs. Keep your heart lifted. And again, the more you start to sink your hips, maybe the more you're going to feel the stretch. And for some people, depending on how your hamstrings are, it's going to be more intense than others. Keep your gaze out in front. And then we're going to release the right hand, turn your back foot to the mat, and come into a Vashisthasana variation, side angle pose. And again, if this is too much, you can set your glutes to the floor. Again, nothing's right, nothing's wrong. It's whatever is perfect for your body. Take one more breath, reach those fingertips to the sky. Exhale the hands back down. Pull that left leg out. Send it behind you, three-legged dog. And exhale, lower the foot to the floor. So we just had an opportunity to work in our glutes as well. Let's stay here for 5 breaths. Inhale. Can you relax your head, your jaw, all the muscles in your face? Bend your knees, whatever degree you need to, but your spine is long. Draw your navel in. Soften. Ujjayi breath. Take one more inhale here. One more exhale. Look between your hands, bend deep in your knees. 2 big steps or jump to the top of your mat. Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. And then come to standing all the way up. Hastasana, gaze to your thumbs. Exhale, release your hands to the heart. Inhale, Surya Namaskara A. Lift the arms, take the gaze up. Exhale, Uttanasana, deep forward fold. Urdhva Uttanasana. Lean into the front of those feet. Feel the back of those legs get that extended stretch. Exhale, hands to feet. 2 big steps back. Come into plank. We're in plank. Set those heels back. Feel the back of those legs nice and long. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, put those arms out in front. We're going to come into Shalabhasana. Inhale, extended lift. Hold here, 5 breaths. Exhale. Get that neck as long as your spine. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Really feel the effort from the core. Pull those kneecaps up. Feel the strength in your legs. Inhale. Soften the jaw. Exhale. And one final breath. Lengthen a little more. Then exhale. Slowly lower down. Rock those hips. Pause here. Feel your heartbeat. Take a moment. Come back to your intention. Be reminded many times throughout the day. Why did you show up here today? Why did you show up to do the next thing? What are you doing the next thing for? Have a good understanding why we do what we do, that we don't just do them unconsciously. Bring your hands back to your rib cage, tuck your toes under, send your hips back, or reverse push-up, downward dog. Inhale your right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, set your right foot to the top of the mat. Bend deep into your right leg. Inhale, lift up, warrior one. Exhale, sink deep into that front knee. We're gonna come right into warrior two. Open up, take that back heel to the floor. And really feel the outer edge of your foot pressing into the mat, okay? Bend into that front knee. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, sink deep into that front knee again. Inhale, straighten that front leg. One more time, sink a little deeper. Straighten that front leg. We're gonna come into triangle pose. And this time I invite you, if you need a block, I invite you to actually have a block to start. We're gonna set the hand to the outside of the right foot. Normally it doesn't matter. Eventually you want your hand to the outside of your right foot. But often I say set your hand to the shin, set your hand to the block. Sometimes the block's on the inside, set your hand to the floor. But this time we're gonna use the block, and maybe we need to use the highest side of the block. But we wanna work it to the outside. That's gonna really encourage us to twist our body a little bit more. Okay, so let's start just by standing. Exhale, reach, 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 reach. Like we do, we wanna get as much length through the body. I'm pressing my hips back, and then I set my hand on the block, if I need to, on the outside of my right leg. And then push so deeply into that block that you're already creating this rotation, and then stack the arms. And the idea is bringing your awareness into your feet. I am pressing into the outer edge of my back foot and sending my hip back, driving that hip back. I'm pressing into the ball of my right foot. I think I said right foot here, my left foot. My right foot's the one at the front. And press into the ball of that right foot and see that you start to engage your quadricep muscles. And all the while I'm pressing into this block or the floor, or you know what, you can even use your shin, of course you can. But the idea is to start to work and lean back. And then see if you can, it's like I'm pressing my hips forward. I'm doing a pelvic tilt so that I'm not sticking my butt out to the back, but I'm pressing forward with my hips. You're going to feel it when you engage your quadriceps. Look to your thumb. Inhale here. Feel that heart opening expression. A little gentle back bend here. Look down to your big toe. Bend into your front knee. Give it a little break. And inhale, come back into warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Exhale, sink deep into that front leg. Straighten that front leg. Sink deep into that front leg. And then windmill your hands, square your hips to the front of the room. Make the stance a little bit smaller, okay? Variations of these nice hamstring stretches. Now my hips are squared. They're not sideways like this, but they're literally side to side. Stance is a little bit smaller. Both feet are rooting into the mat. And your feet are exactly wide apart. Your hips are right into the center. Forward fold, Parsvottanasana. Arms are long, but you don't have to have your arms long. If you want to even have your hands on your hips, you can do this. Lengthen the chest, inhale, squeeze the shoulders away from the ears, and you're driving forward with your chest. Driving forward with your chest. If your arms are out, your arms are just an extension of your chest. You can use a block. And sorry, I didn't say it. Always have your blocks nearby. And you can land with your hands on the blocks. Your spine is still long and you're driving your right hip back. Inhaling and exhaling. And you play with the blocks, whatever degree is enough for you. It could even be a chair in front of you. But see if you can just set the blocks a little bit further away so you are reaching for the blocks. I push into the blocks as though I'm pressing my hips back and then getting a little bit more stretch in my right leg. Inhale and exhale. See See that your neck stays long, your gaze is extending forward. Soften the jaw. And then exhale. Let's exhale and bend into your right leg. Set your left leg back just a little bit further. Just to release the hips. And then inhale, come back into warrior one. And exhale, sink a little deeper. We're going to windmill the hands back down outside that right leg, coming into standing splits. So it's a doozy on this right side, okay? Standing splits is no different than what we did before where we were using the blocks. If that's what you choose to do this time, do that again. Remember we did that right at the beginning. Otherwise, we're going to now bend into our standing leg as much as we need to. So it's like an Uttanasana. Uttanasana is when both feet are together, but now we're just taking one leg behind us. Chest and thigh come together. Hands are in line with the big toe. And then we're just starting to lean into the big toes, put a little bit more weight forward. And that's going to just start to encourage that left leg to lift, keeping the spine long. If you're feeling balanced here, you might want to take your right hand and just grab onto your right ankle. So it's your right foot and your left hand really creating a solid foundation. Lean forward. By leaning forward, you're creating more extension up the leg. And then you're sending your extended leg further behind you. So you're finding that perfect counterbalance. Neck is long, jaw relaxed. Inhale. Again, find your modification. Maybe it's on the blocks. Maybe you're using a chair. But see if you can find the strength in your legs to extend that leg behind you. And then exhale, step it back gracefully. Come into warrior one again. Sink deep into that front knee. And then from here, windmill the hands back down. Right leg comes behind you, three-legged dog. Stretch it out. Maybe rotate your ankle a little bit and lower your foot to the floor. Paddle it out. Feel the difference between your left and your right leg. We're going to prepare for the second side. Inhale your left leg, three-legged dog. And exhale, send your left foot to the top of the mat. And deep into that left knee. Inhale, come into warrior one. And exhale, sink a little bit deeper. So just feel yourself come into those hips. Open up into warrior two. Your right foot now roots into the mat. Your outer right edge of your foot grounds. Your foot's facing forward in a 45-degree angle. Sink a little deeper into that front knee. And then inhale, straighten that front leg. Start to wake up that quadricep. Exhale, sink nice and deep. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink. Inhale. And exhale. And we're going to prepare for triangle pose, Trikonasana. So the stance is still nice and wide. Remember, see if we can practice with the block on the outside of that left leg. We're going to lengthen, 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 lengthen. Drive your hips back. Lengthen your body forward. Activate this leg. See that it stays nice and strong. Set the hand on the floor, on the blocks, whatever feels like enough for you. But your shoulder and your arm are stacking. And then you open up your other arm and you're stacking that arm. Push deeply into that left hand, allowing a gentle rotation. We're turning the torso up, gaze to the thumb. While you're in this twist, you don't want to be leaning forward and crunching here in the core. We are extending the front of the body. It's almost like you should feel a gentle back bend. Pull that left kneecap up. Soften the jaw. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the awareness to the 3 points into the mat and really drive in, pressing and creating an imprint. Take one more breath here. Grow those right fingers to the sky. Exhale, sink deep into that front knee. Bend, turn, square your hips. And then slowly come into warrior one again. And then make the stance a little bit smaller. Okay, Parsvottanasana. Pull your left hip back again so your hips are squared. Exhale, Either arms in extension or arms at the hips. If they're at the hips, roll those shoulders back, elbows back. So we're getting spine long, we're staying really strong. Activate from the core for balance. And then rooting into the feet. Extend if you choose, hands on blocks, reach away, and then press those sits bones back. Spine is long. Push into the ball of the left foot. Really feel that inner side root. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, if anything feels too easy, release the blocks, change them. If it feels too difficult, again, modify accordingly. Inhale and exhale. Full breath, stay with it, inhaling and exhaling. And it's especially when we're feeling challenged, when we ask ourselves, why did we show up? What are we here to do? We want to grow, we want to change, we want to transform, and trust that this is the process. With the next inhale, slowly bend into that front leg. Step your back leg back. Inhale, release, come into warrior one. Sink a little bit deeper. Feel balance, and then windmill the hands back down to the mat, outside your front leg, coming into standing splits again. Use blocks accordingly, transfer the weight forward. And if having your hands by the feet is too imbalanced, do what we did before. You're still using those same muscles, doesn't matter. Drop your right hip. See that you're not starting to stack the hips this way, but square them, square them, square them. You're gonna really feel your left quadricep need to work more. And then set your chest on your thighs. Bend into your left knee as much as you need to. Don't move back. Bend into your front knee as much as you need to. Lean into that front foot and then allow that right leg to send to the back of the room for that counterbalance. Gaze to your ankle or your big toe. If you're feeling balanced here, take your left hand, grab onto your right leg. And then bring the awareness into your left foot, your right hand as your foundation. Inhaling here, doesn't matter what it looks like, who cares? The fact that you're here, you're doing it, you're feeling your body, you're being challenged, you're stressing muscles, you're waking up. And then, again, always coming back to that breath. Take one more full breath here. And then exhale, bend into your standing leg a little bit more, sink that right leg back. Come into warrior one. Sink a little deeper. And windmill your hands back down to the floor. Left leg comes back, three-legged dog. And exhale, lower the foot to the floor. Let's stay here for 5 breaths. If you want to come into child's pose, come into child's pose. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. Slowing the breath down, inhale. And exhale. This is an opportunity to reset, come back to our breath, let the heart rate regulate, and take one more inhale. One more exhale. If you're in child's pose, come back into downward dog. Look between your hands, bend deep in your knees. 2 big steps or jump to the top of your mat. Urdhva Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, Uttanasana. And then with a strong spine, strong legs, come all the way to standing, gaze to your thumbs. And exhale, release the hands to the heart. Pause here. Take a moment just to feel into your body. We're doing tons of forward folds here, tons of stretching those hamstrings. And just feel how you've awakened your body. Feel how it's coming alive, how it's speaking to you. How should you listen to it? What do you need to back off on? What does it want more of? And then open your eyes, top of your mat once again. So your Namaskara, a B. So sink back into your heels, starting in Utkatasana. Weight back and inhale, lift up. Soften the jaw as you put more weight into your heels. We're going to take that left leg. We're going to send the left leg, straighten it. Flex the foot, press into the heel. And you're really activating that right side to stabilize you here. Lift the heart. Inhaling and exhale. Take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale that foot back. Switch sides. Your right leg extends. Press into that heel. Spread those toes. Can you press your sits bones further back and lift your heart a little bit more? Create a more of a counterbalance, leaning forward, sinking back. Soften your jaw. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, bring those feet together and forward fold, Uttanasana. Shake it out here. Roll those shoulders, whatever it is your body needs. Hands to the mat. Take 2 big steps back, come into plank. Lift the heart. And this time we're just going to come into Chaturanga Dandasana. It's like a push-up. We're not going to rest the body on the floor. Keep your legs strong. You're bending your elbows only to the degree that you can bend them and hold your pose. And then turn over both of your feet. Pull up on those kneecaps. Feel those quadriceps so strong. And then lift the heart here. Nice little counter stretch to the back. Exhaling. And then roll over the toes. Downward dog. Oh, inhale that right side. Exhale, set your right foot to the top of the mat. Exhale, sink into that right knee. We're going to come into Skandasana, which is really a hip opener, but it also gets into the hamstrings. Face the left side of your mat. Bend deep into your right knee. Turn your left leg up. So this is where we're stretching. Not necessarily triggering the hamstring so much, but triggering the muscles in the inner thigh. Hands inside of your right leg, right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, flex your left foot a little bit more. Exhale. So it's that back side of our body. We are not doing enough forward fold, so we're making up for it today. And then gently come back to center. Walk through center. Rock those hips, rock those legs a little bit, and then we're going to sink into the left leg. And turn your right toes to the sky. Right toes are pulling up, hands are balancing you, inhaling and exhaling. Again, if you want to go deeper, keep that spine long and you're just hinging at the hips. That intensifies that inner thigh. Softening the jaw. And then gently come back to center. We're going to stay here, pause here for a moment. Take your toes so that they gently turn inward. Your heels are a little bit wider than your toes. And your feet are pretty wide apart. So get them as wide as is comfortable for you. Hands are right underneath the shoulders. We're going to just come into a forward fold. Activate those quadriceps so those kneecaps are working. If you need blocks under your hands, go for that as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to start walking our hands back, walking our hands back, walking our hands back. Maybe your fingertips align with your big toes. Keep that spine long and then start to feel that hinge at the hips. The idea is to put the weight in the front of your feet. So lean forward. You're going to feel how that's going to stretch through those hamstrings and send those sits bones up towards the sky. And if you can get your head to the floor, great. If you can't, it's also great. It doesn't really matter. We're doing this forward fold and really working through those sits bones. Really press those sits bones away. From the side, let's see if you can see that. It looks like I'm leaning forward, but I'm pressing back. Okay, that's going to just encourage that spine to stay long. And a few breaths here. Feel both legs working actively. Feel those quadriceps, maybe even start to burn a little bit. Inhale, come back, hands under your shoulders. Exhale, hands to your hips. Be strong in your back. Inhale, let's just come up to standing. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Bring those elbows back. With that strong spine, creating that gentle back bend, start to hinge again. Hinge, hinge, hinge. And then see if you can come into that forward fold again. It may not be as deep because we're really accentuating that back bend. Lean in the front of your feet and feel that stretch up the back of the legs. Inhaling and exhaling. Take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Release the hands to the floor. Oh, intense. And then gently turn your hands to the top of the mat, squaring. Coming into that warrior one expression. Let's lift up and just stretch and lengthen. Exhale, sink deep. And then take those hands back down to the floor. Right leg comes back, three-legged dog. Exhale, lower the foot. And we'll do the same thing with a little variation on the other side. Left leg lifts up. Exhale, set your left foot to the top of the mat. And then come into warrior one. Lift and lengthen. Ooh, exhale, sink deep. Inhale. Windmill the hands back down. Skandasana on this side. So it means that we're turning to the right side of the mat. Turn that right leg so that the toes open to the sky. And again, you can use any kind of modifications. Sometimes this heel comes off the floor, that's perfectly fine too. Over time, you're going to get a little bit more flexibility in that ankle. Again, lengthen the spine. If you want to take it a little deeper, keep that spine long and just hinge forward. Keep that leg flexed. Come back through center, rock out those hips. Second side. Drop into those hips. I use my elbow just to support that knee to continue to open or to remind it. Left leg, it becomes an external rotation. Toes to the sky, toes towards you as well. And again, maybe that little forward fold can find a little more depth. And then come back through center, pedal it out. Hands are under your shoulders. And this time, take your hands to your waist. Turn your toes in, first of all, heels out, and then lift up, coming all the way up. I'm gonna clasp the hands behind the back this time, just to deepen. Roll those shoulders down and away from the ears. Make a fist. See if you can bring your palms together, bring your elbows together, lift the chest, and then start to transfer the weight in the front of your feet. So as you hinge forward, the weight's in the front of the feet, the toes are starting to work hard, and then you send your hips back, your butt back, coming into this deep hinge. And then let that head drop, whatever that head drops is what's right for you. And then continue to let those arms fold in whatever direction is enough for them. Maybe the head touches the floor, maybe it doesn't. Again, doesn't matter. See if you can pull your kneecaps up a little bit more. Lean into the toes a little bit more. Send your butt to the sky. So you're going to feel the back of the legs really strengthen and lengthen. And breathe. Inhale. And exhale. With the next inhale, use your core. Come all the way up to standing. Oh, release those arms. Shake them out. Oh, that's intense. And then gently set your hands back down to the floor. Turn your feet to the front of the room. Your left foot is on front. Where is the front of the room? Let's come into warrior one time. Again, just stretch it out. Sink deep. And then windmill the hands down. Left leg comes back, three-legged dog. And lower that foot. So again, staying here, finding stillness in our body, in our mind, 5 breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Really slowing the breath down, finding a count of 4. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Take it one more breath, inhaling And exhale. Slowly come into child's pose. Set your knees to the mat. Set your forehead to the mat. And really allow that third eye to be activated. It's said that you should never put weight or pressure on your third eye, that it's a very sensitive part of this energetic center. But obviously, when we're in child's pose, we are pressing on that. And just come back to your intention. This is all about connecting to our wisdom, to our intuitive nature. And when we get still, when we get quiet, we can start to listen. We can start to hear what's right, what's wrong. And the more often we practice this, the more aware we are of our that gut feeling, that intuition. We have it anyway. It's an instinct that we have, but it can become even more developed. And then take your arms in front of you. Coming into downward dog, we're going to jump to our sits bones. So bring the feet to the top of the mat. Bring your sits bones down to the mat. Take your feet hip width apart, and we're just going to do some windshield wipers. So all these hips and all these straight back legs. It's just a nice little counter expression. And we're going to come into Janu Shirshasana, which is left leg bent in an external rotation, right leg extended, coming into a forward fold. If you're lopsided here because of hips, because of knees, you can sit on a blanket, okay? And your left foot presses into your inside right thigh. And you can sort of support this thigh to open if it goes without force. And then see that your right leg in front doesn't have a floppy expression. It's activated, straight foot, kneecap is activated here. Inhale, find length through the spine as though you're growing that torso. And as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward, lean forward. You might want to get a strap here, put it around your foot. What's important here is that we keep the spine long so that we're not hinging forward to round the back like this, but we're extending and hinging from the hips with a straight spine. Okay, so that's where the strap might come in handy. Inhale, lift and lengthen the chest, the torso. And each time we exhale, maybe you can fold a little deeper. With that left hand, you may want to keep your left hand on your left thigh if that feels good. Inhale and exhale. Your right leg can have a bend in it. Please note, anytime we do a forward fold, you can have a little bend in that leg. But we want to work towards developing that leg. So it's better sometimes to just not bend as far and really work those hamstrings. But of course, if there's sensations, you know your body, there's no right or wrong. Inhaling and exhaling. So we want to stay here for at least 8 breaths. Inhale and exhale. And I would say that's about 8 breaths. So let's lift up. Take your hands behind you. Bring those feet to hip width apart. Make a little windshield wiper again. Notice where that stretch is deepest. This just releases and relieves. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Extend your left leg, right foot into the left thigh. And again, you can support this gently, finding a nice external rotation. Left leg long, strong, flexed, aligned. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, keeping that spine long, fold forward, hinge forward. Use a strap if you need to. If your hand grabs your foot, great. You can grab the ankle, grab onto the mat. There's no rules. Inhale, lengthen. We just want to stay aligned and strong, developing the right muscles. Exhale, hinge forward. You might want to have your hand on your thigh if that feels like it balances you more. Inhale and exhale. Use your breath to take you deeper. Try never to go into the fold immediately unless that is your normal fold. Allow the breath to take you there. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more like this. Inhale. Each time you breathe in, get that spine long. And each time you exhale, see if you can soften a little bit more. Last breath, inhaling and exhaling. Slowly work your way up. Ooh, feel those legs. Come back into that little windshield wiper. And then from here, one final pose. No peak pose today. So this is getting into the hips and the hamstrings. We're just going to come into Konasana. Konasana is on the way to doing the splits that take your legs out to the sides. What's really important in this pose is to find a pelvic tilt. So if you don't find that pelvic tilt and you stay crunched like this, you're going to have a really rounded back as you go forward. So this is where I even encourage, I like to lift my hips up a little bit, sitting on a blanket, just enough. That thin little blanket makes a huge difference for me to lengthen my torso, tilt. Do you see this little tilt here? That tilt does a huge shift in allowing me to feel more comfortable in the pose. And it's almost like I'm scooching off the blanket. I'm just tilting my hips forward enough, legs out to the sides. It doesn't matter how wide your legs are. What's important is we want to manage to keep our legs extended. A little bend in the knee is also fine, and the spine long. So get long through the spine, inhale, length, and exhale, hinge from the hips. Just a little tilt here. Maybe this is the expression of your fold. It's perfect. Inhaling and exhaling. But with each breath, maybe the inhale, you feel your body get a little longer. And with each exhale, finding a little more space. So listen to your body. Keep those feet gently flexed. Inhale and exhale. Jaw is soft. Neck is long. Expression is relaxed. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, we want to get gradually deeper in the pose. So that's why we stay for at least 8 breaths. Taking 2 more here. Inhale and exhale. Final breath. Inhale and exhale. Use your inhale breath and your hands to gently walk yourself back upright. Grab behind your knees. Pull into your feet. And come back on your back. And pull your knees into your chest. Make some nice circular motions. So just to relieve the back of the legs, bending into the knees, and then work in a nice rotation, just massaging your lower back. So as a counterpose to all these forward folds, we're going to find a gentle back bend, but a gentle one. You can decide whether you want to get a bolster or whether you want to get a block. For me, a bolster is a little bit too gentle. I want to have still a little bit of a stretch. So I like the block because it just lifts me up a little higher. Decide again, flat, high, middle. Take your feet to Konasana, Buddha Konasana, the soles of the feet together. So we're creating again an external rotation here and then coming over the block so that your shoulder blades are melting around. Again, you can let your head drop back if that feels like a really nice heart opener. It's going to get into your neck chakra, which is also nice. Or if you want to get a little bolster or blanket or block under your head, There's nothing wrong with that. And then taking your arms out to the sides, we'll just take about 10 breaths here. Just feeling the back bend, see that you find comfort with that block. And exhaling. Breathe into that heart space. And exhale, release. So we've been doing these forward folds, closing in on the heart. Now, before we step into our day, we're just creating that space again, reminding our bodies to be open, to be expressive, to love, to give, to receive. And feel that with each breath you take. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. See that you hear your own breath. So you're always reminded that breath is so important, and to have it especially conscious. And then slowly we're going to come off of this block. Take your feet back into the mat. Either roll from left to right or roll all the way up to a seated position, however it's most comfortable to get up. And before we finish, something I really love to do, and I don't think we do it enough, it's creating a little sling with your strap. I hope everyone has a strap and that isn't just using a towel. Towel works for, forward folds and grabbing the feet. But what we're going to do is we're going to create the loop so big that we're going to put our feet into the loop, and we're going to put the back of the head into the other loop. See that your strap is, like your buckle is at the side. Okay, so I'm putting this strap behind my head, and then I'm going to come onto my back. And the weight of my head is heavy enough to keep the weight of my feet forward. So this is just like a pre-Shavasana pampering. I just love it. Find balance here. Take your arms out to the sides. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a play to find the perfect balance. And you really need to make the strap far enough apart so that you've got opportunity for your legs to drop, and then the weight of the head pressing back into the straps. And then at one point you find this perfect balance. I hope you all do. You can close your eyes. Take your arms out to the sides. Let them just release. Close your eyes and take a few breaths here. And stay here. Feel that sense of comfort. Feel that sense of being held. Come back to your breath. Finding that nice 4-count breath. Inhaling. And exhaling. And that breath is a balancing breath. It's a breath that allows you to step in your day, having your nervous system completely regulated, balancing at heart rate. Each time you exhale, can you feel your body sink a little bit more deeply and your head relax a little bit more? Your shoulders soften a little bit more. Your arms become even heavier as they drop. I am in touch with my inner guidance. I listen to my deepest wisdom. I seek to understand and to learn from my life experiences. I am wise, intuitive, and connected with my inner guide. I nurture my spirit. I trust my intuition. I forgive the past and learn what was there for me to learn. I forgive myself. I love and accept myself. I know that all is well in my world. I'm connected with the wisdom of the universe. I'm open to inspiration and bliss. My life moves effortlessly. I'm at peace. I'm the source of my truth and my love. I am at peace. So at this point, you can decide if you would like to stay here for the next 3 minutes, or if you'd like to release from the strap, come into a full expression of Shavasana, whereby you completely surrender your body to the mat, melting your head into the mat, opening your feet mat width, and your arms to the side again. And again, trust your intuition. What is it right now that you really want? Do exactly what is calling you. Start practicing, listening, and honoring that intuitive nature, that wisdom within you. And wherever you are in this moment, take a deep inhale and a deep exhale, and let your breath completely surrender to a natural state. And then gently, just before moving into our day, take this moment just to really be in your body, be in the sensations, be in the feelings, be in the breath. Feel this sense of awareness that you have developed over the last 90 minutes. The vibrations, the opening. And then gently start to move your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Start to feel more into your physical body, taking your arms overhead and finding a nice extension and stretch. Take a nice inhale here. Pull those knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice loving hug. And when you're ready, just roll onto your right side and pause here. Start to feel your body awakening. Start to feel your body shift and transition into your day already. And when so, make your way up to a comfortable seated position. And once again, keep your eyes shut. In each of these shifts, these transitions, be present. Come to a seated position and just feel how your body is alive, how it's wakening up, how you're connecting more deeply to it. And when we're in this state, we can listen and understand more deeply. And that's what this chakra centers around, is the feeling of understanding, knowing. Bring your hands in front of your heart one more time. My life is divinely guided, and I am always going in the best direction. I'm open to receive the limitless abundance of the universe. The universe's healing energy surges and vibrates through me, and I know and I understand. May you feel loving kindness. May you be happy and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you continue to be healthy and safe and happy. Take a loving bow forward with gratitude, with thanks for your body this time, for being here, showing up for yourself. And with gratitude, I say thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. And I wish you a beautiful day. Namaste, and I hope to see you soon.